Hello and welcome to the Connection podcast series. I am delighted to be joined by Björn Schumacher. Björn is CEO of the Schumacher Packaging Group in Germany. Massive news dropped last week, and we saw there's a 70 million euro investment taking place at your facility in Graven, Björn. So before we get into the details, let's just have a little look at what's going on in Germany. Obviously, there are significant market pressures. Just give us a little update as to how Germany is faring at the moment.
Actually, what happens in Germany is something that had never been there before, as far as I know the markets. Markets are really going crazy within the last couple of months, driven especially by the very high pace of change towards the digital sales channels, which need, of course, a lot of packaging to send their goods out to the customers. So what is happening is that lead times are going crazy. We went up from, I would say, normal 5 to 10 days lead time to even 12 to 14 weeks lead times, still struggling to really deliver the goods to our customers. And on the other hand, we really fight to get supplied with our raw materials. So the situation on paper market, but not only paper market, also starch market, glues, color is really tight. So we are fighting actually on several fronts to keep up our productions and to keep our customer service at the moment.
And so Björn, closer to home, you posted your full year results, just a tiny bit away from your target of 700 million euros of annual sales. A fantastic result, obviously. As you said in your statement, that the second half of the year really helped you to get back onto an even keel. But exciting news last week, 70 million euros of investment at Graven. So tell us a little bit about the plans there and how it's taking shape.
Yeah, actually, I mean, just going back to the last year, we have to say that the last year was really a tough year for us because, of course, it started with a very, very high degree of uncertainty. COVID was taking place. We had lockdowns all over Europe. A lot of our customers have been hit by these lockdowns. So first half of the year was very, very, very difficult, I would say. And we went down first with sales of more than 15%. So really worried about the situation. And that changed dramatically in the second half of the year. Especially in wintertime when we had again an increase of infections and the governments decided again to lock down the traditional sales channels, the stores in the cities, and that gave a huge push to the online market, which is in fact for us for almost 20 years already a very important customer segment, and we are all over Europe very strong in the e-commerce business. So what was happening in September, October was that the amount of orders were really exploding, really giving us an enormous increase in orders, where we were almost not able to keep up with this actually pace of change, what was happening on the market. And on the second hand, also a lot of our customers, which have not been into digital sales before, used these 6 months of 2020, the first 6 months, to change their way of selling and also to use digital sales channels. And that, of course, had a major impact on the demand of packaging, which is ongoing. Nevertheless, it was very difficult for us in the end of last year to estimate or to forecast how this demand is going to develop in 2021. I mean, you probably will agree that a lot of people thought, okay, this is going to be a peak, a seasonal peak, but as soon as the stores are going to open again, this is coming back. But it's not happening actually. As far as we, and we do that, of course, very intensely at the moment as we talk to our customers and try to get forecasts of them. It is in fact the case that the demand is staying strong. And why is that? Because before we had, and let's say, older generation of people which have not been in touch with internet, which have not been in touch with the iPad, which would not have changed their buying habits without COVID. And now the stores were closed, so they couldn't go into the cities anymore, and they couldn't buy in their traditional ways, so they had to change. And then, you know, the children, whatever came, and we're giving an iPad to grandma, installing whatever program, an app on the iPad. And those people saw that it's very, very easy to look for their goods, which they need, to type it in, and then they get it delivered. And if they're nice, then they get it even to the second or third floor delivered, so they don't have to carry the bags anymore. And right now, it seems that those people are not going to change back to the traditional ways of shopping, but that they really saw this very comfortable way of getting goods delivered. And in fact, as we see it, COVID has been a dramatic catalyst in this change. So what would have happened anyway, but let's say during the next maybe 10 years, happened right now, really in this 12 to 18 months. And as soon as we saw that, and that happened in the first half of this year, as soon as we got the forecast from our customers that they expect an ongoing demand, we had to react very, very fast, because we thought, okay, or we saw that the actual capacities were not sufficient to service this demand anymore. And we were actually in the very fortunate situation that we had in Greven an ongoing construction. We were expanding this plant anyway, and we had spare space and free space to go on with this investment. And so even though it is still an environment of very high uncertainty and very high risk, we saw, okay, in fact, we have a huge chance right now, because we can react. We found an agreement with our construction companies not to leave as planned, but to stay on our construction site, to go on right away with the next step. And so we decided not only to install a new corrugator, this was planned anyway, but we decided to keep the old 2.50 meter PHS corrugator, which is not old, it's a new machine actually, and install the second corrugator in advance, build another hall of almost 20,000 square meters additionally to the new hall we already planned, and also fill up the whole free space, or the whole additional space, with converting lines. So actually what is happening there is that we will have a huge, and we call it multi-mega plan, because before, you know, our headquarter in Ebersdorf with an actual production, not capacity, but a production of around 350 million square meters was already one of the biggest plants in the world. But this new plant has right now a real capacity, also converting capacity, of 600 million square meters. And that is double the size of Ebersdorf, which is really huge. But we think that the market is really needing this capacity at the moment. And we want to take the chance and give our customers a perspective. You know, the point is, of course, everyone is needing packaging right now, which we are not magicians. We can't just snip our fingers and bring new capacity. But what we can do is give them a perspective and do something. And therefore we decided, okay, we will go this way and use the free space we have in Graven to its max, and build this huge plant within a timeline of only 7 months. So it's planned to finish construction and installation of the machinery in February, March next year, which is really, in these times where you have kind of a scarcity in everything, you know, there's nothing on the market, no construction, no paper, no nothing. That is really a dramatic timeline which we have set. And yeah, we hope we're gonna fulfill our plans.
And Björn, you mentioned the word digital quite a few times already, and we're talking about digital sales channels, obviously. The new or the upgraded multi-mega plants, obviously automation and digitization is going to be critical to the success, because obviously lead times are coming down for the future, obviously. And so it's all going to be about speed, reaction to customer demand. So is Industry 4.0 very much at the heart of this investment?
Yeah, I definitely think so, because, you know, what I said before, that the pace of change, the rate of change has so dramatically increased during the last 12 months. And that is also, of course, having impact on our decisions. So we have to keep up with this rate of change of the markets, of our environment. We have to speed up our processes dramatically, also concerning Industry 4.0. And as you know, by a lot of news over the last years, digital was in focus for Schumacher for a long time already. I mean, we are talking about digital print for over 20 years so far. We installed the first prototype of a digital print machine with Bob's almost 10 years ago. So that has been in focus for us too. But also we did have to improve, and we did have to accelerate our processes, also concerning Graven. So of course, digital printing is something where we are working on very intensely, and not only I would say on the level of today, but what we do right now in Graven is already next generation of digital printing, because in our vision, there will not be any printing machines in the converting area anymore. It's everything printed fully automatic, in line on the corrugators. So you just, you know, in the moment you have something printed, you kind of snip your fingers and you have printed sheets in the end. And this possibility is given by the digital world. And it's not a question if it's going to happen, it's just a question how fast is this going to happen. And for us, it's important to be the first company which is on the market with these solutions, and to gain the experience necessary to serve the customer in the best way. Because, you know, the whole world of digital, of printing, is going to be changed. Before, you had a printing machine and you had a printer, and the quality of your print was pretty much decided by the quality of your printer. How good was he able to set up the machine? But right now, this is totally different. It's just a digital printer. So you press the start button and the machine is going to print. So for us, it's really the driving question: how can we be better than the rest? And therefore, we want to be the first in this process to be able to learn as much as possible about this new technology. But as you mentioned before, it's not only digital printing. So it's about all of your processes. So what we are doing right now in Greven is to automate the whole flow of material in the plant, starting by really getting the rolls delivered. Rolls are unloaded with a full automatic logistics system, also supplied by BHS. So there's a forklift totally driven by the computer system going to the truck. The truck has not to park on a defined place anymore. It can stay wherever it's based. The forklift is steered by a camera system, driving to the truck, unloading the rolls. The whole roll management system is full automatic, so there is no people involved anymore on the corrugators throughout the whole plant. And I think actually that concerning these speeds, this dynamic, you have to be in the process today, because otherwise you're overtaken by the development of your environment. So companies who today already install these processes will be the winners of tomorrow. And those companies who start to think about doing something today might be already lost in this process in the future.
Yeah, because I think it's quite interesting when we start talking about automation, because it also has an impact on the operator of tomorrow. As you rightly say, 20, 30 years ago, there was certainly a black art behind printing. It was all about pressure here and changing the dials. Yeah. But obviously with digital printing, it means Absolutely. Effectively the kids who are coming through now, suddenly our industry is going to be sexy again because everything is driven by digitization and it's all touch panel, etc. But no, it's fascinating to hear your views there, Björn, on digitization and automation. But let's now look at, there was another part of the press release that was talking about further investment within your paper mills. So tell us a little bit about what's happening on the containerboard front and why you see Poland as a critical market for you.
Actually, I kind of mentioned it before. We have not only a shortage on the packaging side, but we have an extreme shortage on the containerboard side too. So if you want to manage the growth which our company has and the growth plans which we have for the future, not only concerning Graven, but we have plans to expand all of our packaging plans over the next years, we of course have to manage the raw material supply too. And therefore, we decided to speed up the expansion process in Poland concerning our paper mills too. Without paper, we can produce packaging. It's very easy. So we had a plan anyway to double our capacity of our Polish mills in the years 2024, 2025. What we did right now is to speed up this process as much as possible, which was not easy because machine supplies are tight too. So to find suppliers which are willing and able to follow our speed was very difficult, but we did so. So we managed to speed up this process of doubling capacity from 24-25 to 22-23. So shifted almost 2 years forward. And generate by that about 150,000 tons of paper in addition. And especially concerning the Polish market, I think it's important because of two reasons. First of all, we have a lot of new packaging capacity, which is going to be installed in Poland within the next 1 or 2 years. Market is speaking about maybe even more than 10 additional corrugators in this country. And Poland was having a bigger growth than I would say the rest of Europe anyway within the last years. And of course, what is happening on the market has effect on Poland also in a special way. So paper is going to be needed there. And we have to fulfill this. And second, of course, what we try to do very intensely is also to optimize our logistics concerning paper. So in my opinion, it doesn't make any sense to supply our German plants from our Polish mills because you leave a lot of money on the roads, and that is money which we are losing in our value chain. And not only money, it's also CO2 which will generate on the streets. So we from the beginning worked very hard on concepts to leave the paper which is produced in Poland also in Poland by having smart swap solutions with other producers supplying their packaging plants in Poland, and on the other hand using paper from their paper mills in Germany just to optimize this whole logistic chain. And
Björn, finally, I'd like to come closer to my side of the channel. Obviously, you made an acquisition a couple of years ago. You acquired Jaffa Box from the Ames family. Tell us about how things are going at Schumacher UK.
Also very exciting. First of all, I must say that the acquisition of Jaffa Box was very important for us because it's just fulfilling our strategy of being a private-owned packaging producer, offering a supply chain all over Europe. So UK is a very, very important market for us, also for our existing customers, and expanding our service to the UK was a very important step for us. And finding a company like Jaffa Box, which was, like you said, privately owned and managed by the Ames families, in actually the same ways and philosophies, even if it's a smaller company, but they share the same mindset as we had, was a very fortunate situation for us. And what is happening in UK is very exciting too. So it's not that UK is coupled off the rest of Europe. So we have an enormous increase of packaging demand there. Too, e-commerce in the UK was traditionally already bigger than in the rest of Europe. So people in the UK use this way of shopping faster than the others. And this demand is increasing right now. So it's not a secret that we have ambitious plans for our UK operations too. And what happened in Graven was the first step, but without telling you too much about our next steps, the next steps will follow, and UK is very high on our list of priorities. So we will definitely expand this business too.
Fantastic. Well, Björn, thank you so much indeed for spending time with us and explaining to our audience about these wonderful plans. So Björn, thank you very much indeed, and we wish you all the best at Graven.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You're welcome, of course.